Hey everyone, welcome back to It's a Cold World. We had a very exciting round two in the WNBL. A few shocks, a few game-winning performances, and you can tell some teams are starting to find their stride, but it's still early. But there's a few obviously hot topics we need to speak about. So one of them is Geelong Venom finally got their first win and at home, which is definitely important considering their first few games they're at home. They need to get on a roll. But what was so impressive, they put up 110 points on the scoreboard. But one player I think that has just impressed a lot of people in the basketball world, especially myself, is American import Mackenzie Holmes. So she's from the Seattle Storm in the WNBA with our fellow Aussie Ezzy Magbagor. And she just stuffed the stat sheet. She had 33 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 blocks. And that was only one of the games in the round. Jazz Shelley as well. She finally had a bounce back performance after round one with 25 points, 5 assists and 2 steals. And them two working in a pick and roll, that's definitely going to be spicy and something that we're going to want to stay tuned for the rest of the season. Southside Flyers, they also got their first win against the Sydney Flames. Kayla George led the way there. She also had a nice bounce back performance after round one. She had a double-double with 19 points and 11 rebounds. We'll see if that can really help get the Flyers humming. Then Perth with a convincing win in the end against Sydney. It was definitely neck and neck in that first half. And Maley was doing Maley things with 17 points and then, again, a ridiculous amount, 17 rebounds. And then Amy Atwell, we heard her say during the week that come round one, she was going to be back and, better than ever. And she definitely lit it up, finding her form slowly. And she had 24 points and 9 rebounds. So, Amy, great to see you back in the league and being healthy. Then Bendigo Spirit, they definitely had a fought-out win. If you didn't watch that, go watch it back. That was a nail-biter against the Geelong Venom. They had a nice spread of scorers, but I think Izzy Ball-Ace really took that game into her own hands. And she had 20 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. So Izzy's definitely finding her way in her new team and her new colours. Sydney Flames unfortunately lost both their games in round two after a cracking opener against Geelong in round one. So they'll be ready to get back in the game for round three and hopefully get a win. Adelaide Lightning still yet to record a win. Of course, they have that experience with Steph Talbot. We have Dallas Lockridge, who's really looking good, fine form, stepping up into that point guard position. But this week, definitely an important round for them. They need to get a W on the board. And one game I think is probably my favourite game and most anticipated one to watch for this week was a result that would have shocked a fair few people. It was a 30-point deficit Canberra had to Townsville Fire. This was shocking because this is a potential, some people are saying, grand final matchup. And I think Canberra were quite impressive in round one. They're still without Zatino Kuzo. Clearly, Townsville Fire still looking good. The chemistry, the poise, just the execution they have. Shannon Seaborn has their team definitely humming. But it was so shocking, I think. 30 points is a big margin. And Paul Goris definitely had something to say in that post-press conference. So if you haven't watched that, watch it. And I'm sure Canberra will bounce back. So that's a team to watch for this week is the Canberra Capitals. But Townsville just showed their class again. And I think they're definitely going to have a target on their back right now. They will be the hunted, that's for sure. Courtney Woods was on triple-double watch. She was great. She had 16 points, 14 assists, and 7 rebounds. But another player for me that was instrumental and I couldn't have spoken highly enough about in that game, she impacted on both ends of the floor, is our very special guest for episode 2 is Chantel Horvat. Welcome, Chantel. Hi, guys. I can't wait to have Chantel Horvat. She's an absolute legend on the court, more so off the court. She's already got me in stitches. But thanks so much for coming on today.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
So we were just talking about how you and the Townsville Fire dominated the UC Caps by 30 points. I was commentating the game and I was talking about how it's a bit early to say, but Townsville Fire obviously recognised as an amazing club that are always making finals. UC Caps are really wanting to make their way there. and potential like grand final matchup. And you guys just went on that floor. And I feel like your execution was something for me that is like class. But how did it feel being out on that court with the girls, and sort of what were the key messages from Shannon before the game?
Well, first of all, it was just a really fun game to play in. Like, I think you could see on the game how much joy we had when we were playing out there with each other. I mean, none of us knew how that game was going to go. Obviously, the Caps are an incredible team. They've got incredible players. So we went in with the mindset that this is going to be a tough game. We need to get it done on both ends of the court, stick to our game plan, play hard, be relentless, do all the little things. And yeah, in the end, that worked really well for us and we got a good win.
And you played for the UC Caps last season. So I was a bit like, oh, you got to know a bit of a scout. You got to know what, Paul Goris wants to do. Some of the players, were you able to give a bit of your insight to the rest of your team?
A little bit, but we've all played against each other so much in this league. So I think Shannon knew what to do as well, what players' tendencies were. Obviously, the girls on my team have also matched up against these great Caps players many times before. So I think everyone knew that it was going to be a tough matchup and how we had to stop certain players. And yeah, it was about getting that done in the end.
And can you explain for people back home who obviously changing teams is a part of basketball, but how does it feel when you represented a jersey and a team one season, and then the next season you were the different team versus your old team? Because I know for me, like, you just love winning against your old team, whether you had the most amazing experience or you didn't. It just feels good. But what was it like suiting up on the other side?
Yeah, there is something about it, about winning against your old team. But I mean, I came into that court with a lot of love and joy for the people in the crowd, the people in my old team and the coaching staff and everyone was incredibly supportive despite me being in another jersey. Still lots of hugs, lots of happy reunions and yeah, it was really cool to be back there and playing there and know that not much has changed since I was there and there's still a lot of love for me as a player and them as a club, coming back and playing against the Caps. So yeah, look, we're competitors, we're athletes, there is something in us that loves winning against our own home team. But I also was incredibly joyful to be back there playing in that arena, playing against incredible competition and have some friends and family in the stands.
You formed so many friendships. Amen. You formed so many friendships and relationships around the world. You've played in the likes of Poland, Turkey, and Spain. Obviously, in regards to just like friendships, life experiences, and basketball experience, how, I guess, has that shaped you into who you are today, and I guess what you do on and off the court?
Yeah, all these experiences have definitely shaped me on and off the court. I've moved teams every year, some years playing on multiple teams in multiple countries. So you get to learn a lot from your teammates, particularly your older teammates and sometimes younger teammates. I like to try and learn from everyone. And it's definitely shaped me into the player I am today, but even more so into the person. And you get to form relationships with people from all different walks of life, and share insights into what it's like to live in their country or their experiences. And it just makes you a better human at the end of the day. And I feel so grateful that basketball is my vehicle to different kinds of people, different countries, different experiences, and that it's allowed me to forge these incredible connections and cool experiences all over the world. And that's one of the reasons why I play and love to travel and play and go everywhere that I do. And I feel incredibly grateful that this is my job and I get to do this. And it's so fun.
Oh, that just warmed my heart. I love that. And I think if some people don't know, you actually got to play with one of your best mates, another fellow Aussie, Alana Smith. Can you tell us what that's like? Because not often do you get to play the game that you absolutely love with the person that you absolutely love and adore too. What was that whole crazy experience like?
Where do I begin? It was an incredible time. I mean, you do long distance friendships for so long. And we first became friends at the AIS when we lived together, and we were inseparable. So then she went off to Stanford, I went off to UCLA, and we'd cross paths in the Pac-12, or whenever we had a weekend off. We're like, who's flying to who? Like, where are we going? And then when she was in the W and I was still in LA, I did some road trips out to Phoenix. So when I was graduating from college and she was going to Poland, she was like, hey, we need a 3-4, come to Poland and play with us. So it was a no-brainer. I thought it would be, one, an incredible opportunity to play with a friend. Two, she's played professionally. She's a few years older than me, so she had already played professionally for a few years around the world. There's so much that I'm constantly learning from her. It's also daunting when you move across the world, particularly to a country that you don't speak the language of. So there were so many reasons why this was a good move, not only for basketball, they were also a Euro Cup team. So it was a great basketball move, but also a great life move to play the game I love, continue to grow on and off the court with one of my best friends. And we just had so much fun. And it showed in the way we played. Like our team did really well. We played really well together. And then we actually signed again together in Turkey with, so it shows when you're enjoying your life off the court, you can also, and working hard, like, we had a lot of fun, but we also worked really hard. So, and I think that paid off and created this incredible experience that both of us constantly revisit and talk about and joke about when we're going to get on the same team again, because it's something that I hope everyone gets to experience. But one thing that we are really fortunate about with our sport is that we almost get to go to work with our friends every day. We forge incredible connections with other players on our team, and on that team in Poland, we were also surrounded by other great chicks that we are still friends with to this day. So it wasn't just me and her, but it was an incredible team of incredible people. So I'm very lucky to have that experience with her. We'll never forget it.
I think, okay, if we can see Horvat and Smith back in a team together, I think fans everywhere would be nuts, so we can manifest it. But you spoke about also what you do off court, right? And having fun. And if people don't know you love to travel, like you love just taking photographs. But one thing is Chantel makes. So you make some beautiful crochet items. So if people don't know yet, tell them a bit about your hobby, because in Europe you travel a lot. Are you doing it in Townsville? Because the people love your stuff. So tell everyone a bit about it and how it started.
Well, I'm the queen of hobbies. My mum was the creative, my dad was the athlete, and I'm both of them together. So I think she taught me how to sew when I was like 11 years old. And I was sewing from a super young age, making clothing, making my friends. I remember one year I made all my friends Santa sacks for Christmas in year 6. So I was just always sewing, making things with my hand, jewelry, whatnot. My grandmother actually was the crocheter and the knitter, so she taught me how to do that when I was young as well. And then I did it a little bit at the AIS, and I was always just making things for myself or friends as I was growing up. And then come COVID, when I was in LA and we were in a bubble, obviously I had schoolwork, but there was a lot of downtime as well with being socially distanced from other people, and a lot of traveling, a lot of like chartered flights as well, which is great because you've got lots of room to roll out the yarn. So that really got me back into working with yarn, and I was making things for myself and people wanted to buy it. And at the start, I was really hesitant. I didn't want to sell anything. I just was like, oh, you don't really want it. Like, it's not that good. So, and then I sort of got over that hump of not thinking the things I make are very good. And because people were like, no, seriously, I want to pay you to make this. So that's sort of how it started. So I've got a very small, very, very, very small business. It's is a silly little Instagram that usually people DM me, and if they want me to make them something, I'll do it. But it really is more for fun because one, yarn costs so much money. So
really, I
don't really make
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's expensive, unfortunately. Unless you go overseas. It was so cheap when I was in Turkey. I had like suitcases of yarn that I brought back. It was incredible. But here in Australia, it's quite expensive. So it's more of a hobby turned small business. But yeah, I just love creating one for myself, but also two for others when they really love something and I see them wearing it. Like, it just brings me so much joy to see them enjoying something that I've made. And yes, I am doing it in Townsville. I fractured my thumb last season in Canberra, so the crocheting was
On pause.
on hold. But we're back. We are back.
And speaking of Townsville again, new location, new thumb. How are you liking living in Townsville? It's obviously very different, to other cities, but what has it been like with the team, the girls, and just like a whole new vibe that you probably haven't experienced before?
Yeah, I haven't spent a lot of time in Queensland. This is the first time I've really spent a chunk of time up here. It's very different to Victoria and that's incredible. I love, like I said earlier, that's one of the things I love about basketball. You get to experience things that you wouldn't usually experience, and it's incredibly beautiful. I'm loving the warm weather, being by the ocean, Maggie Island stunning, and the basketball is awesome as well. So that's why I'm here. So that's a big plus, and my team's incredible. I actually didn't know a lot of the girls before coming up here. We obviously played against each other, but it's been really cool to come into this team, and it feels like we've known each other for such a long time. Everyone loves to hang out. We go to trivia night, do all these really fun activities and have a lot of fun on and off the court. And they're a really hardworking bunch. Like, we work really hard, and that's also incredible that you get to do a little bit of both up in Townsville, enjoy the sunshine, work really hard, and go to trivia.
And you actually came on as an injury replacement to the Townsville Fire. Can you tell me a bit about how that came about? Where were you when this happened? What was your mindset shift? Like, what were you currently doing? Because, we always know where we're going next, like where we have to be at this time, that time for training, whatever. What were you doing, and how did you get to where you are today in that fire outfit?
Yeah, so if you haven't figured already, I'm not really a planner. So I kind of love the unknown of not knowing where I'm going to some extent until it gets stressful. But no, I actually took some time off for once. This was my first off season that I had completely off. I had ankle surgery and had to heal the thumb. So when I was contemplating playing NBL one, my body just like wasn't quite there, and advice from physios was just like take an off season and enjoy that. So I did do a lot of traveling in the off season. So I think people often think, oh, did she even train? But no, I was training and getting my body back on track. And in between these training blocks, I booked a holiday and got to do some travel outside of basketball, which we don't often get. So that was really fun. And yeah, honestly, initially the plan was to go back and play in Europe. And then Shannon called me and asked me to come be a part of the team. And yeah, after the conversation with him, it was also difficult knowing where my body would be, because I had been training and doing a lot of stuff in Geelong, but training at an elite level, like WBL level, Euro League level, that's just a whole nother level. And I didn't know how my body would go post surgery. I didn't know how my ankle would go if I had to play 2 games a week. And for a number of reasons, I left that conversation with Shannon feeling really good about this situation, and potentially what it could lead to, whether that is, you play here for a couple months and go overseas, or whatever happens here in Townsville. So it just felt like the right move, and that's why I did it. And it was incredible to have a preseason and now have some games under my belt. And it's just that reassurance as well, knowing that no, you're healed and you can do this and you can feel good and play well at this level post operations and injury trauma. So it's been a really cool experience, and I'm so grateful that I was given this opportunity to be here. And it just, it feels right. So I'm really enjoying it, and I'd like to take everything day by day. Like I said, I'm not a planner, so don't ask me too much about my future. I just am focused on where my feet are. And that's when I really enjoy myself as well, when I get to be present with my teammates and just enjoy going to work every day. And
Yeah, I love that. Oh, no, well, I commend you because it's so hard being an athlete and having an injury. And I feel like some people, you're probably like, I couldn't remember the last time I felt 110% ever playing. Maybe when I was like 8 and like fresh out of the womb on the basketball court was probably the last time. So it's like, I commend you so much and you should be so proud that you actually took that time because it's hard when, again, you see other people still training, still playing. You sort of feel like you're getting left behind. You're not quite sure. So like, way to stick with it, actually look after your body. And look, whatever you've done, it's worked. You've put in that time, that effort. Um, like you said, you've really looked after your mind, body, soul. And then you came out on the weekend against your old team. You had 20 points, 9 rebounds off the bench in like 24 minutes. Like absolutely amazing. And I know you're someone as well who's not just about stats, but like people want you on your team because you are such a good person and a great teammate and you just bring that energy. But how did it feel, like you said, knowing I was a bit scared, like I don't know how my body was going to be, how I was going to react, but knowing, hey, I was able to put out that performance in the WNBL, one of the, greatest competitions in the world. How did that make you feel knowing, hey, I did that?
yeah, I mean, you always feel good when you one perform well and two your team wins. So it is an incredible feeling. I think the preseason really helped me get to a point where it's like, no, like you're good. You can trust in your body. You can trust that when you land, you're not going to have excruciating pain in your ankle. So it is, yeah, it's just, it takes time though. And it is a mental battle as well as a physical one. When you are coming back, I did do a lot of work in the weeks leading up to the Townsville preseason and a lot of work in the weight room, particularly. So I think that put me in a good spot to go into preseason feeling good and ready to get rolling with everything. And yeah, but it's also a different story come game time because there's so many factors that come into it as well in a game. And yeah, it is great having some games under my belt, a game where you play well and you're like, okay, like I can do this. This is me. This is how I play. And,
Yeah.
you don't have to have those doubts or injuries or, things in the back of your mind. So it was great. And yeah, still hungry to get more wins with the team and help them in any way I can to be the best team that we can.
And you in the fire, you just look really good. I know it's only round 2, but I'm not surprised. Shannon Seaborn is a great coach, and like you said, a lot of the core group is there from last season, and you girls all train super hard, and it can, it tells on the floor. But do you personally, as well as the team, what are some of your goals for this season?
We definitely have the goal of winning. I think every team goes into the season with that goal in mind, but um, often Shannon tells us that if he just wants us to be the hardest working team on the floor that night in a game, and if the result is a win or a loss, but we've worked our butts off and given 100%, then he's going to be happy with how we've played. And I think that um, is really helpful as well going into games, like simplifying it like that as well. So yeah, ultimately our goal is to win a championship, but every day our goal is to get better, and that's me personally. The biggest thing that I said, like in my off season when I was discussing with my agent what I wanted was I just wanted my biggest goal was just to be healthy and happy playing basketball and like find that real love for it again. Which is really difficult when you've been dealing with injuries for years, and that just really bogs you down. So that was one of my personal goals. And I think I play my best basketball when I'm enjoying myself and I'm having fun out there, and um, having an incredible team beside me also makes that really enjoyable. So for me personally, that was my biggest goal, just to get back to playing happy, healthy, and contributing wherever I can, and ultimately helping the team win wherever I can. And as a team, I think a lot of people would say the same. I think a lot of people have the goal of working hard every day and trying to win as much as they can. Ultimately, hopefully, that will result in a championship.
Well, you personally, you're off to a great start this season, and it's so great to hear that you're happy, but most importantly, you're healthy and you in the fire. I cannot wait to see what you produce on the floor because your games are always entertaining. But I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the show, giving us a bit of an inside scoop out with the Townsville Fire and what you've been up to, leading up to this. But I need to finish with a fun little fact for everyone, as well as I feel like your dad and my dad would be like super proud of us right now. It's a full circle moment, maybe for them. But for you guys that didn't know, Chantel's dad and my dad are both won Socceroos, but my dad coached her dad at the AIS for soccer, for football, whatever you want to call it. And then we both went to the AIS as athletes. So I'm like, I feel like it's a full circle moment. And shout out dads.
Yeah, shout out dads for the good genes. And yeah, we just chose to dribble with our hands, not our feet or our mouths. So stick with the hands.
No Academy Awards for us, all right? We're physical. Oh, but Chantel, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so fun to chat.